Hey, what's up? It's Tati. I just finished watching The Avengers. It came on after Collision, and I kind of forgot about the review. I haven't been watching any of these superhero stuff. The last thing I watched was WandaVision, and I really did enjoy it. But from there, I was maxed the hell out. I couldn't take anything Marvel, DC anymore. It just felt like it was just too much stuff that we gotten over the years. So it was a little bit refreshing to see what was going on with Infinity War since I've never actually seen it. I don't know anything about superhero stuff, but I do know pro wrestling. And if you want to know what happened at Collision, let me tell you. First things first, we had the TNT title on the line in a triple threat match. So it was Luchosaurus versus Christian versus Darby Allin. However, Christian did propose to Tony Khan that he wanted to have a handicap match. Tony Khan said, hell to the no, this is going to be a triple threat match. So they have this match, and Christian does treat this like it's a handicap match. So he's telling Luchasaurus what to do, basically partnering up with Luchasaurus pretty much just about the whole time during this match so they can damn near kill Darby Allin. And Darby Allin was just being passed around like a blunt throughout this whole match. It was just insane. This guy is willing to do anything when he gets in this ring, like anything. And sometimes I feel like, bro, you are doing the most, but that's exactly what we know Darby Allin for. Now, throughout this match, we do have Christian who's taking advantage of Luchasaurus, and Luchasaurus will beat the hell out of Darby Allin. Then Luchasaurus will go for a cover, and then here comes Christian getting him to move and do something else. And behind his back, he'll get on Darby Allin to go for the pin. And Luchasaurus, he sees this and he's like, well, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I thought we were like partners or whatever. I'm guessing he's thinking Christian is a friend to him and he's going to end up retaining the title after this. Wrong. So what ends up happening here is that Luchasaurus is in the ring and he's holding the TNT title. Now, there's a triple threat match, so pretty much anything goes here. So he's holding the title. And then Christian goes and he's trying to take the title away from Luchasaurus. And Luchasaurus actually ends up giving it to Christian. And I'm just like, holy shit, what's going on here? And then here comes Darby Allin getting into the ring, and he ends up taking the TNT title and bashing Luchasaurus in the head with it, and then he goes for the pin. Then Christian snatches up Darby, launches him like a frisbee outside the ring, gets on top of Luchasaurus, referee counts 1, 2, 3, and we have a new, wait, not new, but and still TNT champion, Christian Cage. I actually really like how they ended up doing this, and I'm cool with Christian winning the TNT title. Now after this, he's hugging up all over on Luchasaurus and celebrating. Luchasaurus is just standing there, and they're celebrating and all that stuff, and they end up leaving together. And now I know what you're thinking. Why would Luchasaurus be okay with any of this? Luchasaurus is a dinosaur, you guys. He doesn't have human comprehension. He doesn't know what the hell is going on. He's just going with the flow. But you do see throughout this match that he does starting to understand that Christian may not be what he think he is. Now, later on, we do have Christian and Luchasaurus with Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone is interviewing Christian, and Christian dedicates this victory to Nick Swain, daddy, and his mama. And here comes Tony Schiavone riding on parade and letting us know that at Wrestle Dream, it's going to be Christian versus Darby Allin in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And really, I'm kind of tired with Darby Allin at this point. But it was a great opener. So up next, we have Uncle Don letting us know that they accept Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega and Ibushi's match to face them at Wrestle Dream. And then he goes and let us know that Kenny looks at Ibushi as more than just brothers, basically letting us know that Kenny plays for the same damn team. Yes, there's been rumors about Kenny being bisexual or whatever, but Kenny, if you come this way, you'll never go another way again. Now, what's important though is that who's going to be that third man in this match for Uncle Don's team? He lets us know that there's another family member that no one's been talking about, and that's Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay will be teaming up with Takeshita and Sammy Guevara versus Kenny Chris, and Ibushi. So that's the match we're going to get at Wrestle Dream. I ain't mad at it. I rather had just seen the tag team, but it's great to see Will Ospreay back in the ring with AEW. He's super, super talented. Now, after that, we do have tag team action with Matt Menard and Angela Parker versus Hook and RVD. This was a really great match. The crowd was absolutely alive and feeling it. They were in Michigan, and RVD's from Michigan, so they were feeling seeing RVD in the ring. This is definitely one of those situations that won't happen again, at least not so often, but he was moving really, really well in the ring. And I believe he's in his early 50s, so he hasn't been in the ring often, and it was great to see what he can do, and boy, he still got it. And also, I thought it was really, really cool that Taz can look at this match and see his son in the ring with someone that he's been in the ring with before. It was a really cool full circle moment. And I do think that they had somewhat of chemistry as a tag team, but it's great to see Matt and Angelo being able to elevate themselves as a tag team. We've been seeing them tagging for about a month now. Ever since they left the whole Jericho Appreciation Society, they've been doing their thing. They obviously had Jake Hager and Anna Jay ringside, and yes, they got involved. What's new? But Hook and RBD end up taking the win after a frog splash. And it was a great match, and it was cool to see what RBD can do. I did enjoy this match. But what the hell are we doing with Hook and that FTW title? We need to get something going with this. It got to be put on the line. He needs to be having a feud with somebody. I'm just not sure they know what to do with him. So now we also have a new match added on for Wrestle Dream, and that is Shibata versus Eddie Kingston. Shibata's pure title is not on the line, but Eddie's ROH title and the New Japan Openweight title are on the line for that match. So if Eddie loses, then we have a new belt collector, which would be Shibata. And you guys, I love Shibata. Shibata is a no bullshit type of guy. He come in the ring, he gets shit done. Amazing. Now after that, we got the Dark Order, who's letting us know that they're the good guys. Thank you for the weekly reminder. I really needed to know that. Now after that, we also get a promo from the Kingdom. The Kingdom are upset about what happened with their match last night. These motherfuckers did not win the number one contendership for the Ring of Honor tag championship. So now they beefing with best friends, and they're going to have a match next week on Collision. I can give two fucks about that. Now up next, we have Kiara Hogan versus Julia Hart. And I'm going to tell you, if you saw the match last night with Julia versus Sky Blue, it was just about the same damn thing. And Julia wins the same way. I don't know the name of her finisher. I can't remember. But it literally was very identical. Matter of fact, Kiara's outfit, it was very similar to Sky Blue's outfit. Now, Julia does the same thing like last night. After the opponent tap, she ends up still applying that submission. Last night, Willow Nightingale had came out to help Sky Blue, but this time she's holding on to Kiara, and Sky Blue comes out. Sky Blue comes out, and Brody King comes in front, and then Julia hides behind Brody. And when she's not paying attention, when Sky Blue's not paying attention, she sprays the green mist into her face, and she is screaming, going crazy. And then we have Brody King, who comes on the mic saying to Chris Statlander personally, like, if you don't come and do something and answer Julia's request to go for the TBS championship, we're going to keep doing this every week to another girl. And I'm just like, well, the pay-per-view is literally next weekend, so you guys got one more week to attack somebody. I was kind of surprised that it was Brody that was doing the talking for Julia. Julia only says like one thing, something about the house always wins, and that's all she said. And I would have personally liked to hear a little bit more from Julia. What Brody King was saying, his delivery, it was great. I don't have an issue with that. But at some point, you're building somebody up. She's a woman in an all-men group. And you're just going to want to hear some more from her. So I wanted to hear her cut a promo. That didn't end up happening. She only said one thing, and then that was it. Next week, I think Collision, I believe, we're going to get Julia Hart versus Will Nightingale, which is going to be really interesting to see what happens between these two girls. Up next, we have a very good match with Jay White and Andrade El Idolo. Now, don't be surprised here because I was like, you know what, it can go either way. And I believe Jay White had maybe like a 7 win streak going on in singles competition. So I was expecting that he was going to end up taking this win. We obviously have Bullet Club Gold, who are ringside being annoying as fuck. That's just how they are at this point. And Andrade, he really held his own. This was a really great match, so I do recommend, if you didn't see anything on the show, definitely go ahead and check this out. It was really great. Now, Bullet Club Gold, they are ringside, and they are acting a fool as usual, making things a little bit more difficult for Andrade since he's out on his own. And I'm still wondering, where the hell is LFI? Are they still together or not? We were getting video packages of them on a weekly basis, and then all of a sudden, all that stopped. Like, what's going on here? I have no idea. But the match is really great. And let me tell y'all something. Wrestling, it makes me feel good. And even in a sexual way, it's like, holy shit, when I see really great wrestling, two guys in a ring just doing, oh, let me not get into details. But now they have a really great match here. And I'm just wondering, where is this going? Is Jay White going to take the win? And yes, he does. Now, yes, it came with a bit of cheating. And that's just how Bullet Club Go rolls. So we do have Andrade, who ends up putting Jay White in a figure eight. And Jay White looked like he might end up tapping out. So then we have the guns distracting the referee. And while the referee is distracted with the guns, here comes Juice Robinson with that plaque that he had that said Collision Cowboy of the Month, whatever that means. And he goes and bash Andrade in the head with it, rolls out. And then we have Jay White hitting the switchblade, and there it is. He ends up winning. And I was like, holy crap, what's going to happen next? It was great to see Jay White takes the win here. It looks like they're being really, like they're prioritizing Jay White moving forward. He is somebody that I believe can be a really big, big player in AEW. So I'm glad to see that. But I do believe that Andrade could be one of the top guys too. Great match. Really, really enjoyed it. Check it out if you didn't. So up next, we have Ortiz and Santana. They have a video promo, and Ortiz says, as long as I've known you, you've been running away from your problems, but you won't be able to run from your problems much longer. And the problem being Ortiz. So we're going to see something with these guys pretty soon. I'm really glad to see that what seems to be a real life beef is going to be on screen. Now, we also have Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty. Shane Taylor has a message for Keith Lee, and he's like, look, before you get in the ring with me, I want you to get in the ring with Lee Moriarty. Lee Moriarty is going to whoop your ass. Now, to be honest, Keith Lee, I've been expecting much bigger things for Keith Lee in AEW. It just hasn't happened, especially after him and Keith, what's his name, Swerve, end up losing the tag titles, which I felt like they lost it too soon. We really haven't seen much of Keith Lee at all. But I'm glad that they're reviving this feud with Shane Taylor and Keith Lee. So I'm hoping that will do something for both of these guys, because both these guys are super, super talented. And Lee Moriarty, I know he's just thrown in the mix or whatever, but he's super talented. He's a great technical wrestler. I'll never forget when Brian Danielson was calling out people that are really talented people that could be in BCC. He did name drop Lee Moriarty. What happened after that? Obviously, that did not happen, but he's a very good technical wrestler. So we're going to see a really cool thing with Lee Moriarty and Keith Lee next week. Now, after that, we do have tag team action with the Workhorsemen versus FTR. We have the AEW tag titles on the line. And let me tell you, if y'all don't know who the Workhorsemen are, they are on Ring of Honor. Personally, I do prefer them as single competitors, but they've been tagging for quite some time, and they're really great with each other. They have great chemistry. Now, if y'all didn't know who they were before, you sure as hell do know now. They have a really great match with FTR. I felt like it could have gone longer. I know we had the whole Texas Death Match as the main event, but boy, these guys really impressed tonight. I've been seeing them for quite some time, so I know what they're capable of. But those of you who are not familiar with the Workhorsemen, you guys really were in for a treat. Now, there are people who were even surprised that they didn't even end up taking the win here. But you guys know that FTR and Aussie Open have a match at Wrestle Dream. So it just, you already knew that the titles were not going to change hands. But that's how well the Workhorsemen did. And I know that with this match, that whoever's watching back there, Tony Khan and the producers or whatever, they're going to look at the Workhorsemen and be like, we got to prioritize these guys some more and feature them on AEW TV. So that is really, really great. I was really, really happy for them despite them losing. And I think it's important to point out there that something I'm going to talk about during the main event is that losing is not always losing. Sometimes you lose your match, but you win with getting people to look at you in a way and be like, that's a main event player. That's a great tag team. And then you start getting these opportunities, and hopefully the company ends up pushing you in a way where you can work your way up to the top. So even though this was a loss for the Workhorsemen, I do know that definitely put them on the map as a tag team and AEW. Next, we have CJ Perry, which is Miro's wife. She is being interviewed, and then Miro comes out, and Miro says that she is his greatest temptation and that things are just not working out with them. Now, CJ, she's going to be a manager in AEW, and she's looking for clients, and she says whatever it is that's going on between them, she just hopes that does not come between her and her future clients. And that's interesting that she says that, because it just seems like absolutely we're going to see CJ Perry being Powerhouse Hobbs' manager. Is something wrong with that? No. I wish, though, that they never would pointed that out. I wish that it would have just been a total surprise at some point that out of the blue, CJ Perry ends up coming out with Powerhouse Hobbs and then declaring herself his manager, rather than it being so apparent from here where they're going with this storyline. It is interesting, but I wish it would have been more of a surprise coming down the road. Now we have our Texas Death Match, Ricky Starks versus Bryan Danielson, and oh my God, it was lovely. All right, you guys. So right off the bat, Bryan Danielson has unleashed the dragon on Ricky Starks, and I'm loving it. And I'm like, this is the type of energy I like going into a match. Now, obviously, that's not going to last forever, and Ricky Starks, right before the commercial break, does end up taking control. You guys know how it is. Now, with this match, we have 2 commercial breaks. And personally, Tony Khan, I know you got some money. Pay for the damn main events to be commercial free. I would prefer that over picture in picture. It's too small, and my glasses can't handle all that. Now, the match continues. We even have this part where we have Ricky who goes to the top rope and he jumps down to go onto Bryan, but then he ends up landing on the security and people in the front row. And I was like, you know what? If that was me, I'm not suing. Ricky, I would not mind you landing on my lap. I don't got a problem with that. Now, we continue the match, and then we have Ricky Starks who busts open Bryan Danielson's head. He's bleeding, and then he started focusing on Bryan's legs, because if he can focus on his legs, then Bryan won't be able to pretty much stand up and move around in this match. Now, we have Ricky who takes a big metal chain, puts it around Bryan's neck, the same way that Bryan did to him at their match at All Out. So now he is squeezing his neck, pulling back on that chain, all his strength on it, and honestly, it doesn't look good. And I'm thinking Brian might just pass out, but we still got a few more minutes before the show's over, so I know it's not going to end like that. So what ends up happening is Ricky lets go. Brian is laying in the ring. Referee is counting to 10. And by the time they're at 8 or 9 is when Brian gets up. And Ricky is mad. Ricky gets up. He's looking at Brian. And then he runs for a spear. Brian ends up snatching him up and putting into a label lock. And I'm just like, that is a really, really cool counter. He puts him in a label lock. He's holding on. Ricky looks like he's phased, but not so much. So then Brian is like, you know what, bitch? I'm going to get this chain. He reaches over. The chain is an arm length, takes it, puts it around Ricky's neck, and he's pulling and pulling just like he did at All Out, just like what Ricky did to him a few minutes before. And Ricky somehow gets out of that. And I'm just wondering, wow, this is really, really great. It's a Saturday night. We're getting a brutal wrestling match for a main event, and I don't even have to pay for it? I'm in love. So now Ricky brings a chair to the match. He brings it up and he's going to go hit Brian with it. Brian quickly does a running knee strike when Ricky has the chair right in front of his face. So that chair ends up bouncing onto Ricky's face and Ricky falls down. Now the chair is laid down on the ground. So Brian puts a Ricky head right on over the chair and he holds onto his arms and he is kicking Ricky's face over and over and over again. And then out of the blue, Ricky's face just started leaking. Blood was just gushing out of his face. And I'm just like so freaking worried at this time. Ricky is too pretty to be messing up his face. Brian, chill the fuck out. Now, Brian at some point, he does stop. And I'm just thinking, okay, is this over? Is he just going to let him lay there and see if the ref going to count? Nope. Brian goes on the other side of the ring, takes that metal chain, wraps it around his knee, and he waits for Ricky to get on his knees. Ricky gets on his knee, and then Brian runs on over to Ricky, gives him a running knee strike to the face with the chain wrapped around his knee, you guys. And then Ricky is laid out. Referee counts to 10, and Bryan Danielson is the winner. Now, right after Brian wins, Wheeler Yuta runs out to the ring, and then we also have Big Bill running out to the ring. They're checking on their besties and seeing what's up. And then maybe a few seconds later, Ricky gets up and I'm just like, holy crap, Ricky's face looks horrible. Ricky gets up and I'm thinking maybe he's just gonna just take this defeat and just go to the back. But Ricky's actually walking up to Brian. He looked like he wants some more. And it is so interesting because with the way they ended this match, with him not being pinned, with him not being to tap out to a submission, that kind of leaves the door open for them to have another match. Is it going to be something soon? Probably not. We do have Bryan Danielson going against Zack Sabre Jr. Oh my God, you guys, Zack Sabre Jr. is one of those guys that does it to me too. They're having a match at Wrestle Dream. So I believe we're just going to see something with just those two guys next week. And at some point, they're probably going to resume the whole Ricky Starks and Bryan Danielson thing. But this was a very good main event. This is something that you would see on a pay-per-view, and we just got it on a Saturday night for basically no money at all. So I really enjoyed this. Collision, the whole show wasn't a slam dunk or whatever, but we had really, really great moments here, and I really enjoyed it. The main event is absolutely worth it. The tag team match with FTR was great, and also the opener with Christian, Luchosaurus, and Darby was great. Oh, and definitely Andrade and Jay White. You know what? Just watch the whole damn thing. It's good. I enjoyed it. All right, so I know a lot of people are upset that Ricky took another loss, but I have to say this. Like I said earlier, when it comes to professional wrestling, losing a match isn't always losing. We had Ricky Starks, who previously to Collision was just lost in the shuffle. Everyone knew that he was going to be a big star in AEW. However, we just never got to that point where he was moving the way he should have moved up in this card. Up in the roster. Now, when Collision started, he had that feud going on with, well, after winning the Owen Hart Cup, then he had a feud with CM Punk. That was great for him as well. And now he's in another feud with another legend, Bryan Danielson. I've been having bangers of a match with Bryan Danielson so far, several of them. So each time we see him in the ring, he is looking good, even if he's taking a loss. Now, he did win last week with a tag team match when he was tagging with Big Bill. That was his only win in this feud with Bryan Danielson. However, you guys, I do think it's important to look at professional wrestling as in you have to be patient too. You know, when it comes to wrestling, timing is everything. Not having everything just happen all at once for somebody, it's a good thing. You know, Ricky Starks, I'm pretty sure he's looking at this as in he's getting all this experience in his belt. Bryan Danielson had already said that this would be his last year wrestling. And the Ricky Starks is going to be one of those few people who's going to say he's had these moments with Bryan Danielson. Now, I do believe Ricky Starks' moment is going to come. And I know when it comes to Tony Khan, he's one of those people that when it comes to booking, sometimes you start off great with something and then whatever people feel like is coming is never going to happen at all. That might be the case. And if that happens and Ricky Starks want to go to WWE, people are definitely going to understand. But I do think we got to give it time. And Ricky's going to get to exactly where he needs to be in this business. This guy has money written all over him. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I will be back next Wednesday with Dynamite.